yeah. Is it Tuesday already? Star Wars. The news just keeps on coming. The leaks just keep on coming when it comes to Star Wars Starfighter, Ahsoka Season 2, and now Maul Shadow Lord Season 2 can be added to that list as Sam Witwer, I guess it's not really a leak because it's coming from Sam himself, is talking about Maul Shadow Lord Season 2, specifically the finale of Season 2. So we got to talk about that. Also, Ahsoka Season 2 leaks just keep on coming. We're talking set leaks. We're talking about the plot of the series and Star Wars Eclipse. You know, the game that was announced oh so many moons ago might be dead. We'll talk about it. We got a lot of news to get into and not a lot of time. So without further ado, let's dive into all of it. What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing on this fine Tuesday afternoon? So we got some, fun Star Wars news to talk about, as per usual. Ahsoka Season 2 has got me all the way up here in terms of hype. But let's not forget, we just got Maul Shadow Lord. We just got Maul versus Vader in one of the greatest single seasons of a Star Wars animated show we've ever received. No, scratch that. Greatest Star Wars show. Not animated, just show in general. And we got to talk about the second season because Sam Witwer is talking about it. So, before we do any of that, let's start the stream the only way we know how. Oh, and we got a giveaway today. It is the last stream of the month, and that means giveaway. If you are a member, you get a 1 in 80-something chance to win the giveaway. If you are not a member, you have till the end of this stream or till we do the giveaway to become a member to have a 1 in 90-ish chance to win today's giveaway. But before we do any of that, let's start the stream the only way we know how, by saying hi to everybody in the chat. All right. Melissa, how we doing? Steve in the house. Fearless, what is up? Brandon Baker in the building. Holly, what is up? Starship 66 in the house. Kyler in the building. Slithering Mary, what is up? Red 6 down, how we doing? Noah Townsend in the building. Starship 66, what is up? Manda United in the building. 50 Thunder, how we doing? RG in the house. Grand Admiral Xavier, what is up? Darth Plagueis lives, how we doing? WV Grad in the house. All right, if I missed you, you know the deal. Just yell at me in the chat. Let's give everybody a nice little...
Hello there.
General Kenobi.
Oh, I pressed the wrong button. Okay. So I say... I don't really know. Where should we start? What happened? What happened? Oh, there we go. Where do you want us to... Oh, we got a super chat. Hang on. Where do you want to start today, chat? Obviously, we're not going to start with the giveaway, but we got Star Wars Eclipse being possibly canceled. We got an update from that. Oh, actually, let's start with this. You know what? Star Wars just posted this about an hour ago. A new trailer for the next... Oh, it's available now. Breaking news, I suppose. Star Wars Monopoly is available now, and this trailer just dropped about an hour ago for it. Let's watch this. Let's start here.
A crossover of galactic proportions. Monopoly like you've never played before. Choose your side, heroes or villains. Build your power, control the galaxy.
Did my eyes deceive me? Did my eyes deceive me, chat? Or was that Reva? In the great 2026, was that Reva? Hang on, chat. Wait a second. Where was that? I think it's right here. It was. That's crazy. This is the first time we've seen this character since Kenobi, where she didn't die. Wild. Okay, you guys know my opinion on this, and if you don't, I'll make it very clear. I hate Monopoly. Monopoly is like the worst board game of all time. I am going to stand on this hill till the day I die. I hate Monopoly. It's like, hey, you want to waste 4 hours of your life being mad at all your friends or your family? You want to spend, half your waking hours? That would mean you're only up for 8 hours. That doesn't make any sense. Do you want to spend your evening angry? Do you want to spend the night losing at a board game that you suck at? That's speaking from personal experience. Do you want to just ruin your entire week? Play Monopoly. So there goes our Monopoly sponsorship. It looks cool, has Star Wars involved, so count me in, but I'm not going to be playing it because I hate Monopoly. Mike, a guy who loves Star Wars. Today is June 30th, 2026. Hate something. It's not Star Wars. No. It's Monopoly, okay? Write it down for the history books. Monopoly sucks. But if you like Monopoly, tell me in the chat. If you're a crazy person and you like to ruin your day or ruin other people's days because you're probably nasty at Monopoly, tell me in the chat. Riva returns. That should be let's change the title of the live stream to Riva Returns. Can we do that? Okay, cool. But that just came out, available now, by the way, so if you want to play that, you can ruin your evening for tonight. But let's get to this super chat really quick. Darth Plagueis lives with a very generous $5 super chat. I appreciate that quite a bit. It says, I hope we still get Eclipse. That trailer was fire. Oh, yeah. You mean the trailer from... Wait, I have it pulled up, too. You mean the trailer from 4 years ago? Yeah, I agree. But when do you really think we will get Maul Shadow Lord Season 2? And welcome back. I appreciate that. When do I think we will get Maul Shadow Lord Season 2? That's a great question. Well, I'm going to open this up to the chat. When do you guys think we will get Maul Shadow Lord Season 2? And while you do so, we got a new member, so let's do this. Danjamin, is that like Benjamin and Dan? I like that. Danjamin, welcome to the people who love Star Wars. Welcome to the people who love Star Wars. Danjamin at the Padawan level. I appreciate that quite a bit. If you are not yet a member, you have just till the end of this live stream pretty much to join. Today's giveaway is actually the Razor Crest from the Mandalorian and Grogu. Hence, we are still in the window of the Mandalorian and Grogu. It just passed $330-something million. Mandalorian and Grogu is in theaters still, so we're doing Mandalorian and Grogu giveaway one last time for the month of June. So that will happen later on in the live stream. But I appreciate it, Dan. I really do. When do we think we will get Maul Shadow Lord Season 2? When do we think, Chet? Because Sam Witwer has given us a little tease that has got me pretty damn excited, to say the least. So let's talk about this. Lucas, what's up? Wade, how we doing? D in the building, how we doing? All right, let's do this. So, Sam Witwer was at Fan Expo this weekend, specifically Fan Expo Anaheim this weekend, and he teased the finale of Maul Shadow Lord Season 2. And he said, quote, "It's pretty epic." Now, obviously, that sounds great in and of itself. The finale of Season 1 was Maul versus Vader, so I don't really know how they're going to top that, and I don't know if they have to. Maybe Maul versus Palpatine, which would be awesome. But we can speculate about that for a long time, and we will. However, what this is indicating in terms of a release date for Maul Shadow Lord Season 2 means it may be coming a lot sooner than we expected. If he's teasing that the finale of Season 2, not like Episode 1, not the premiere, not Season 2 in general, the finale of Season 2, is going to be pretty epic, that makes me think they've filmed it, or at least recorded the voice for it, as Sam Witwer would have recorded the voice for Maul. Meaning that Season 2 of Maul may be a lot further along than we once thought. So in terms of a release date for this, I'm certainly hoping early 2027. Now, the problem that arises with that is Ahsoka Season 2 is early 2027. The 50th anniversary of A New Hope is also in February, which is early 2027. Even Starfighter comes out in May of 2027. Star Wars Celebration, the 50th anniversary, is in early 2027 in April. So is early 2027 just going to be the most jam-packed 6 months of Star Wars content ever? Or are they going to spread it out throughout the year? I think the most likely project to come out in early 2027 is Ahsoka Season 2, because it was supposed to come out this year, and it has been, quote-unquote, delayed until 2027. So the most likely, and we'll talk about a lot of Ahsoka Season 2 later on in this live stream, the most likely thing to come out in early 2027 is Ahsoka Season 2. Things that already have release dates. Star Wars Celebration, April 1st. Already has a set date. The 50th anniversary of A New Hope is in February. I think February 18th. Somebody fact check me on that. And then Star Wars Starfighter, which comes out May 28th, which is Memorial Day weekend. So those have specific release dates. The only two projects that we're talking about today that don't are Ahsoka Season 2 and Maul Shadow Lord Season 2. However, this nice, 4-word sentence from Sam Witwer saying that the finale of Season 2 is pretty epic makes me think that the finale of Season 2 has already been recorded, at least, by the voices. Maybe it's even been animated a little bit. The timeline on Maul Shadow Lord has always been very strange. When it was revealed, when it was first announced at last year's Star Wars Celebration in 2025, we had no idea of its existence. It was this massive surprise that they kept a secret. And on stage last year, Sam Witwer said that he had been working on this series for over a year. Meaning, they've been working on Maul Shadow Lord for over 2.5 years. 2 to 2.5 years. Season 2 might already be done. It might already be done. Having said that, when will it come out? That's I guess the question we're all sort of speculating about here. I'm seeing Halloween 2027. I'm seeing early 2027 to mid 2027. I think it could come out the exact same release schedule as we got this year. From late April to May the 4th. And Ahsoka Season 2 will come out before it. I honestly think Ahsoka Season 2 could come out in January, but February or March is probably more likely. But the fact of the matter is, we thought that Ahsoka Season 2 was coming out this year, in August or September, October the latest. And the delay pushed it back to early 2027, but you're talking about let's say August, September, October, November, December, at least January, 5-month delay. How much more time do they need? Obviously, Season 2 is going to be leaps and bounds bigger than Season 1, which is not something you can just say. You can't just say something like that. Season 1 was enormous. Introduced a brand new galaxy. Gave us the world between worlds. Gave us these epic lightsaber duels. Many of them. And to go bigger than that, way bigger than that, and to need almost 5 or 6 extra months of post-production, this second season is going to blow our freaking minds. And we know that. However, in terms of release date, I'm thinking we are going to celebrate the 50th anniversary of Star Wars by just jam-packing 2027. Ahsoka will start off the year in January or February, and then Maul Shadow Lord will come out in that same release date as the first season, and May the 4th will be the finale of the second season. That's where I'm at. That's what Sam Witwer saying, it's pretty epic, has led me to. I'm losing my mind here, chat. I'm losing my mind because he's talking about the finale of Season 2. We just watched the finale of Season 1 a couple months ago. Not even a couple months ago, 1 month ago. We're still in June. So I think Maul Shadow Lord Season 2 is a lot further along than we once thought. And Sam Witwer may have just confirmed all of that. Do I think we'll be going to any other planets after Season 2 or in Season 2? Yes. For Maul? Oh, for Ahsoka. Okay. Well, for Maul, yes, definitely. Janix is done. It's over. The Empire has taken it over, and they're not going anywhere. Maul is likely to go to Dathomir. We have heard rumor of this big time jump between seasons, so it's also likely that we are going to get Maul and Devin having trained for multiple years before we see them again. It's just a matter of how far is that time jump, because Solo, a Star Wars story, we see Maul, and we know where he ends up in Rebels, so how big a time jump is this going to be? How many seasons will Maul Shadow Lord end up being? Those are the questions we need answered. But for Sam Witwer to go up on stage at Fan Expo Anaheim and say that Season 2, the finale, is pretty epic, makes me think that he's already recorded for the finale and that they are already way further along than we once thought for Maul Shadow Lord Season 2. Yeah. So that's the craziness when it comes to Maul Shadow Lord. And obviously, Season 1 just ended, so I don't think we'll be getting a trailer anytime soon. But hey, D23 is coming up in August. We are just a little over a month away from D23. It's August 14th to 16th. And we are already talking about, pretty much confirmed, but we'll say a rumor for now, D23 will have the first teaser trailer for Star Wars Starfighter and the first teaser trailer for Ahsoka Season 2. So why not add on to the mix Maul Shadow Lord Season 2? Give us a little bit of a teaser, just a little teaser. We don't need much. Maybe just a screenshot. Just anything. Give us something. And if we're talking about plot for Season 2 of Maul, I mean, all bets are off. All bets are off. When you just watched Maul versus Vader for the entire finale, all bets are off. We thought that they would tease Vader for Season 2, and it would be this, never-ending tease towards this big fight happening in the finale of the entire series. Nope. Season 1 finale. Let's give them what they want. Maul versus Vader right away. That's insane. And they understand, and by they I mean Lucasfilm, they understand that they're going to have to one-up themselves, as they always try to do with all the shows. Think about all the other animated stuff. Rebels gets better every single season. The Clone Wars, you could argue it gets better every single season. There's certain seasons like 4 and 5 that I think are better than the rest, and they're right in the middle. But either way, it gets better from Season 1 to Season 2. Even the live action stuff, Andor Season 2 is way better than Season 1. Mando Season 2 is way better than Season 1. So in order for Maul Shadow Lord Season 2, just even the prospect of Season 2 being better than Season 1 is mind-blowing, because Season 1 has a 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. Anybody who watched the series was like, this is one of the best things Star Wars has ever produced. So to one-up that, it's got to be pretty damn hard to do. Yeah. Fearless with a very generous $2 holla says, number 1, Ahsoka Season 2. Number 2, Starfighter. Number 3, Maul Shadow Lord Season 2. That's the plan. So you think that Maul Shadow Lord will come out after May? In the summer, in the fall? I don't know. It seems like they've been pretty adamant about keeping an animated series around May the 4th. Think about it. This year was Maul Shadow Lord Season 1. The previous year was Tales of the Underworld on May the 4th. The previous year was Tales of the Empire on May the 4th. The previous year was Bad Batch, Season 2 or 3, something like that. The year before that was maybe... Actually, I don't know what the year before that was. But one of the years before that was also Clone Wars Season 7, 2020, I think. So they've been pretty consistent with giving us an animated show or at least a Tales season on May the 4th. At least 4 or 5 of the last 6 years have had that happen. So for next year, we're either getting a Tales on May the 4th or Maul Shadow Lord Season 2. And I really don't think that's far-fetched to say. Yeah. It's going to be a very busy start to the year, to say the least, for Star Wars fans. Yeah. It's possible we could be getting a Tales series by the end of this year. That'd be nice. But only time will tell. Okay. Let's switch gears a little bit here. We can always come back to Maul Shadow Lord, but let's switch gears a little bit here to Ahsoka Season 2, shall we? So, last we spoke, we got this update from Iman Esfandi, who said, the pain you're feeling cannot compare to the joy that is coming. And that is what he tells himself as he awaits Season 2. We know. We've been waiting for 3.5 years, or 3 years, almost. It'll be 3.5 years eventually. By the time it comes out. We've been waiting a long, long time. Ahsoka Season 1 ended, and we have to patiently wait to see what happens, to see who's calling to Baylan Skoll, to see this grand war in our Star Wars that Dave Filoni has teased to us. There's a lot of cliffhangers at the end of that first season, and we have been impatiently, but patiently, waiting this second season. Now, things get really crazy, because Season 2 of Ahsoka, the leaks just keep on coming. And we have set photo leaks, probably where we're going to spend the majority of our time in Season 2, and this, which is blowing my mind. But here, let's do this first. 50 Thunder with a very generous $5 super chat says, do you think Maul Shadow Lord Season 2 will keep the Shadow Lord title, or will the next phase of Maul just be known as something else? Whoa. I didn't even think of that. Because the first season's called Shadow Lord because he's ruling from the shadows. I guess he would technically still be ruling from the shadows in Season 2, right? But maybe not. Maybe not. Like in Season 1, he's just letting things happen. He's letting the Pikes think that they're ruling, even though he's the one pulling the strings. And same with the Crimson Dawn. Now, maybe Season 2 will be actually called something else. I like that a lot. Actually, let's go to Disney+. On Disney+, is it called Season 1? Or, let's see. Yeah, okay. I think it's going to be just called Season 2 then. Because this says Maul, Shadow Lord, and then Season 1 is sort of the... Yeah. I think it's very unlikely they change it at this point then. Very unlikely. But not impossible. Not impossible. When is Jedi 3 coming out? I mean, that's a great question. I have no idea. Your guess is as good as mine on that. Was Season 1 good? Yes. I couldn't get through the first episode. Oh, jeez. Well, maybe get through all 10 episodes. That'd be nice. Yeah. Who's the most overrated Star Wars character in your opinion? Most overrated. Yikes. Okay, let's ask everybody here first. Who do you guys think the most overrated character in Star Wars is? Overrated. That's tougher than you think. You know who I'm going to go with? Kylo? No. Kylo's underrated, if anything. Overrated is tough. I mean, you could go with like somebody like Anakin, but you'd just be wrong. Jabba the Hutt. Whoa, bold take. Boba Fett. Interesting. I think Boba Fett was the most overhyped in people's minds, And then when he returned for his own show, people were let down because they had this untouchable fantasy of who Boba Fett was in their head. I agree with that to an extent, yeah. Mace Windu, again, I think that's more so because people just want him to come back to life. Ahsoka? No. Zam Wessel? No. No. Boba Fett's not a bad answer. Yeah. You could say, that's so tough. You could say like Luke Skywalker, and not that, he's not the GOAT, but like we haven't seen him in his prime yet, at least in canon. So you're just seeing the beginning of his story with the original trilogy and the end of his story with the sequels. So I guess you could say that he's overrated because we haven't seen him in his prime. You get glimpses of it in The Mandalorian Season 2 and in the Book of Boba Fett, but yeah. Rey? Well, Rey's not like very highly rated by a lot of fans, So she couldn't be overrated. Grogu, I guess you could. Yeah, Grogu. He's just a fan favorite, He's just a fan favorite. Yeah. Ahsoka again. Yeah, Ahsoka is one of my favorite characters ever. She's not like very highly rated amongst Star Wars fans. And it's not that she's like got this invincibility, even though she has come back from the dead multiple times, because she loses fights all the time. In her own show, she lost to Balin and Anakin. Most overrated is prequels Obi-Wan? Yeah, that's a crazy take. Snoke, okay, yeah. I mean, because he ended up being nothing, so for sure. Yeah. Did you think that Ahsoka was annoying when you first met her in the Clone Wars movie? Yes, and that's on purpose. The same way that Luke Skywalker is annoying when you meet him in A New Hope, or Anakin is annoying in Attack of the Clones. Like, that's in order to give them, I guess... If Luke Skywalker started out as Luke Skywalker in Return of the Jedi and had zero character development, then it wouldn't be a good story. The fact that he starts as a whiny farm boy in A New Hope, Uncle Owen, yeah, this droid is a bad motivator, and then ends up being a Jedi Knight by the end of it. That's what makes him cool. And the same with Ahsoka. Ahsoka is whiny and annoying in the Clone Wars movie. And then you watch her progress over 7 seasons of the Clone Wars. And then you watch her progress even more beyond that. And that's what makes her such a great character. Same with Anakin Skywalker. Yeah. So if you want to be a Skywalker, just start out really whiny and then end up being a great character. Okay. Sorry. I don't know how we got on this. Oh, we were asked about the most overrated character. So to answer your question, I have no idea. I guess that's, up for debate. Yeah. I suppose. Okay. Continuing. So, let's get back to Ahsoka Season 2 here. So, after Iman Esfandi said, the pain of waiting will be very much worth it when you get the joy of what comes, or what's coming, with Ahsoka Season 2, that was great. Now we have even some more. Take a look at this. A bit of late night Morai update. I have good reason to believe that the musical score for Ahsoka Season 2 is currently being recorded or just finished recording in the UK, with some UK musicians starting to add this Season 2, to their credits. Don't you just love the credits? Talking to some of my non-source scoring industry friends about the precedent here, as well as how contracts play into the whole thing, despite the season's delay. We'll keep you guys updated, more to come. So, again, sort of along the lines of what we were just talking about with Maul Shadow Lord Season 2, if the music is done for Ahsoka Season 2, obviously post-production is going to take longer, but this is a very big part of something that happens usually later on in the development of a show. It's not normal to have the music be done before the show is done. Now, obviously, the show's not done. by any means, but it does make me think that it's further along than we think. And I think the reason for the delay still is because of the post-production and the, giant war in our Star Wars, possibly going to a completely different realm like Mortis, like that stuff to bring to life, all the visual effects of that takes time. So, yeah, it gets delayed. However, this does make me think they're further along than even I thought, because the fact that this is already almost done, and yes, it's Kiner's, which is great too. I'll pull this up, but yeah. So this was, I guess, the updated rumor. Pretty confident about this, though. I have good reason to believe that the musical score for Ahsoka Season 2 by Kevin Kiner, Sean Kiner, and Dina Kiner, the Kiner family, the Kiner Music, and their team is currently being recorded or just finished recording in the UK. And that's what we just read, but this is an updated one. So, I mean, this isn't the greatest news of all time because, yes, it's still delayed into early 2027, but it does make me think that it's further along than we think. Yeah. Hi there, I'm a new fan. I love your shorts. Well, I love you. Welcome to the people who love Star Wars, and welcome to the live stream. Yeah. So, having said that, what we've recently got for Ahsoka Season 2 is not only leaks about this new creature thing that's a giant lizard, but also that we're getting a teaser trailer at D23 in just over a month from now. Start the countdown. We got like less than 45 days. But now we're learning that the music could be done already for the film. And take a look at this. Take a look at this. This is insane. So this was brought across my table. If you are not yet already in the Discord, there's a Discord in the link in the description below. There's a link to it in the description below. To a Discord called The People Who Love Star Wars. And there you will find a link to this. Ahsoka Season 2, all of the links to all the rumors, all the confirmed stuff from Lucasfilm, everything your heart can desire for Ahsoka Season 2 leaks and rumors are right here in this document. Look at the side here. Document tabs. Look at all this. Cast and crew, production, all this other stuff, and it's cut down into more post-production scoring by the Kiners, which we just talked about. Footage shown, episodes 1 through 8, concept art. Like, look at this. Everything that we've talked about, everything that we haven't even talked about yet, all of it is in this 85, I repeat, 85-page document. 85! Crazy. So, all this stuff from concept art images, which we've looked at before, like all of this, where you got Bale and Skull looking up at Ahsoka's ship there, Ahsoka with these giant droid creatures, the war in our Star Wars on Dathomir, Ahsoka and Sabine going through these caves, all of this, which we've looked at before, Admiral Akbar behind the scenes, the Loth Cats now, meaning we're going back to Lothal, which is pretty cool, all this. And yes, the set photo leaks, which we're talking about today as well. So, all the leaks you could possibly imagine, 85 pages of it, all right here for your heart to consume. Now, if you are not yet already in that Discord, there's a link in the description. Go join it immediately. 85 pages of Star Wars Ahsoka Season 2 leaks. We will not obviously be reading all 85 today, but the majority of the ones I want to talk about are these. So, set leaks. The two big ones of the set photo leaks are Dathomir, which you can see right here. This is practical, or at least the foreground is practical. The background is most likely either green screen, blue screen, or the volume. But a massive practical set for Dathomir has been created. Now, this makes a lot of sense because from what the leaks and rumors have been telling us, it's that we have a war in our Star Wars. And for the most part, that war is going to take place on Dathomir. Now, Season 1 ended with Grand Admiral Thrawn arriving on the Night Sister planet. I don't think that that will be where his main base is going to be. first and foremost, there's going to be a big war happening there, so he's not going to want to stay there. But secondly, this was never intended to be his base. I am still of the mind that Thrawn is going to take over Coruscant. Yeah, the main capital of the Republic, because it's not the capital by the time of the sequel trilogy. And yes, you could just, argue that they moved capitals because of this. It would be so much cooler if it's because Thrawn came in and took over the planet and forced them out and then used Coruscant as his capital. And that would explain why the Hosnian Prime system is blown up by Starkiller Base rather than Coruscant. Also, Dathomir, I don't think Thrawn's end goal is to be all buddy-buddy with the Night Sisters. I still think he has something else in mind. But I guess we'll have to wait and see on that one. Oh, Melissa with a very generous $10 super chat. My goodness, that's extremely generous. Says, Mike, do you think we will do a Star Wars Tales for the first 50 years? Do I think they will do a Star Wars Tales for the Oh, like next year? Do I think they'll do a Tales of something? Yes, absolutely. I would hope for a Tales of the Jedi Season 2, because there's plenty of Jedi we can get stories about, but you could do Tales of the Bounty Hunter, Tales of pretty much anything. Yeah. Yeah. But going back to Ahsoka Season 2, I appreciate the super chat. Dathomir, at least for the main galaxy, will be the main hub for all the chaos. Ezra knows that Thrawn is there. So easily he can go to the New Republic and say, look, this is where Thrawn is. Let's go get him right now. And then they go to Dathomir, and that's where a big fight happens. That's why also in these set photo leaks, we see a fight happening on a red planet. It's just red and smoke. But either way, New Republic officers versus stormtroopers on a red planet, most likely Dathomir. Also, we know of a secret mission that Ezra, Hera, Chopper, and Jason are on. And here you can see Enoch on the red planet as well. But it seems now that all the leaks are sort of coming together, and it honestly makes a lot more sense, because if the leaks were false, then they wouldn't fit together as nicely as they are right now. Now, these behind the scenes or concept art images are brought to you by Lucasfilm. This is not a leaked image or anything. This is brought to you by Lucasfilm. The set photos, this is a leak. Just wanted to clear that up. So Dathomir is the big one in the main galaxy. Yes, we'll probably get some Coruscant. Yes, we'll probably get some, New Republic fleet stuff. We're going to Lothal for sure. That's why there's Loth Cats. Ezra's going back home after 11 or 12 years, which is going to be great. But in the other galaxy, where I think we will spend the majority of our time in Season 2, with Balin and Ahsoka and Shin and Huge Wang and hopefully Abeloth, that is also the other set photo leak. And this is Peridia. These two practical sets were built for a reason, because these are our two main hubs for both galaxies. Now, obviously, we are going to get to see a bunch of different terrain when it comes to Peridia. We're going up in the mountains in the snow, like we've seen in these concept art images of Balin looking up at this ship in the mountaintops. We are going to different terrain. Absolutely. However, I think still the majority of our time will be spent in this sort of landscape, because, again, the pieces are falling together oh so nicely. You see stuff like this. Oh, hang on. You see stuff like this, which is Ahsoka and Sabine looking at some sort of rusty old droid that used to be here, this massive droid-like creature that used to be here. And they're in this open field like this. The majority of our time will be spent here, with Ahsoka training Sabine, or Shin Hati and the bandits fighting versus General Grievous. I mean, Huge Wang, as you can see right about here. General Grievous Hu Yang. So you're going to get a lot of this area in Ahsoka Season 2, which is Peridia. Now, I think there is another. Last stream, we talked about the Shin Hati cannonball theory, which was that she was going to come in while Ahsoka and Baylan were fighting, and she was going to find the Fountain of Power, or the Pool of Knowledge, and, you know, go cannonball and jump right in. That was the Shin Hati cannonball theory. And then she would crawl out of that, becoming sort of our canon version of Abeloth. She would be imbued with all of this insane amount of power, and she would be able to manipulate the Force in ways we've never seen before. Now, I think that's even more relevant than ever, because I think we are going to a different location on Peridia. The same way that Ahsoka, Ahsoka, Anakin, and Obi-Wan in the Clone Wars went to Mortis, which was outside of the physical realm, outside of space and time itself, much like the World Between Worlds. I think Ahsoka, and maybe Sabine as well, but Ahsoka and Baylan Skoll for sure, are going to go to a completely different realm in Ahsoka Season 2. And yes, we can go back and look at the concept art images from Duel of the Fates like we did on Thursday's live stream, and how that was supposed to be Rey versus Kylo on Mortis. And they might be utilizing ideas from that in Ahsoka Season 2, which would be really, really cool. However, let's not forget that Baylan Skoll is being called out too. There is someone or something calling out to Baylan Skoll. And yes, the majority of us think that it is Abeloth, but tell me in the comments if you disagree with that, or tell me in the comments, who do you think is calling to Baylan Skoll? Is it Abeloth? Is it somebody else? Actually, let's put up a poll. Let's put up a poll. I just realized we haven't put up a poll yet today because I've just been rambling on about all these craziness. All right, let's do this. Let's put up a poll. If you have not already, smash a freaking like on this stream. I don't know what the hell you're waiting for. Let's do this. Okay. Who is calling to Baylan Skoll? Oh. Your options are Abeloth. Abeloth. Oh, there we go. Abeloth. Those are all your options. No, I don't really know. Let's see. What would be some other options, chat? Do you remember when Dave Filoni said that they were returning to Wayland? Did he specifically say that? I got a feeling we're definitely going back to Wayland, but I don't remember him specifically saying that. Yeah. I think the idea that Wayland is still a functional, or maybe not functional anymore, but it was at one point a functional cloning facility, and that was set up in the Bad Batch, that will definitely come into live action and be something very important. That also means the Zillo Beast is coming into live action, which is awesome, and hopefully along with all of that, Omega. Because if Thrawn, the genius that he is going to go to Wayland and figure this whole thing out, figure out Project Necromancer, figure out that Palpatine is still alive, figure out that Omega is the key to all of this, all bets are off. Because Thrawn can do pretty much anything, because now he's in charge. When it was the time before the original trilogy, during Rebels, Thrawn was not in charge. Palpatine was. And Palpatine was pushing all this funding to the Death Star when Thrawn wanted it to go to the TIE Defenders, and he was like, you should be building all these Star Destroyers instead of spending all your money on one space station. Was Thrawn right? Absolutely. But that's besides the point. Now Palpatine's gone. Vader's gone. Krennic's gone. Tarkin's gone. And Thrawn's the guy in charge. So what he says goes. So it's going to be so much more interesting now to see what he does. Will he try to restart the TIE Defender program? What will he think of Project Necromancer? What will he think of Starkiller Base? Because Starkiller Base is already being created right now. What will he think of that? Those will be the very interesting things when it comes to Grand Admiral Thrawn. Having said that, Wayland and the cloning facility and Project Necromancer and Omega, when that's brought to his attention, what's he going to do with it? Yeah. I wonder what Omega's doing after the fall of the Empire. I would assume that she's still working for the New Republic. But, I mean, that's just my guess because we don't know. Okay, but who do you think is calling to Bale and Skull? Abeloth or something else? I guess we only have two options. Or someone else. And if you're picking someone else, please tell me in the chat. Max Rebo, what's up? How we doing? Mike, out of curiosity, do you think it's possible that John and Dave could give us a canon story within all of this involving the Kyber crystal? I mean, possibly that was a big leak for the Mandalorian and Grogu's plot, and it never came to be. So I doubt it, but it's not completely impossible, I guess. Yeah. The sun is calling to Balin. Well, the sun is dead. Last time we saw the Mortis gods, they all died. And so it's possible, I guess it's impossible, that the sun could be calling to him. However, that doesn't mean we won't see the sun in Season 2, because we could be getting a lot of flashbacks to the Mortis gods. Imagine trying to explain the Mortis gods to somebody who's never seen the Clone Wars. That's exactly what they're going to have to do with Ahsoka Season 2. Sounds impossible, honestly. Sounds impossible to me. But, hey, stranger things have happened. Stranger things have happened. Yeah. I honestly think Ahsoka is the best when it comes to having to duel with lightsabers. At this point in the timeline, she's probably up there for sure. But, yeah. Yeah. They could. How do you think that Ahsoka and Sabine are going to get off the planet and find their way back? That is a great question. How are Ahsoka and Sabine going to get back home? My question, I guess, is my response would be they don't. I don't think Ahsoka's going to get back home. The end of Season 1 has Ahsoka looking out at Morai, the owl, and then looking at Sabine, who's like, how are we going to get back home? And she's like, I don't think we're supposed to. I think this is where we're supposed to be. So I don't think... Ahsoka is definitely not going back home. I do think Sabine and Hu Yang could get back home. However, I don't know how. I don't know how. Only time will tell, I suppose. Yeah. I'd guess that the major fight scenes are there with the practical sets. They make it easier. Absolutely. So when we're looking at these images, specifically of Dathomir, we're going to get a ton of fight sequences on this set. Because, yes, putting all the stunt doubles and extras on a practical set and not just having to digitally add them in later is so much easier. And to do it with the main two places where you're going to have a bunch of fights, I think you're going to see Ahsoka, Sabine, and Huge Wang versus the Bandits and Shin Hati in this field. You might even get a Balin versus Ahsoka Part 3 on this field. And then, yes, the war in our Star Wars, the main location will be Dathomir. And for the ground battles, at least, because there will be plenty of space battles, but for the ground battles, at least, this will be the location that they take place in. Yeah. Wait, Dathomir is in Ahsoka Season 2? Yes. Yes, indeed it is. That I can say with the utmost certainty. Yeah. Mike, question. Why would we go back to Wayland when Mount Tantiss was shut down? Well, let's not forget who shut that down. It was Tarkin, a guy who Thrawn was at odds with for many, 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 many years. Because Tarkin thought that the best plan was to fund the Death Star, and Thrawn was very much against that. Tarkin shuts down Mount Tantiss to fund the Death Star. Like, even that far back, they're still taking funding away from the Death Star to do other things, and Tarkin's like, no, let's do this instead, make the planet-killing weapon. So I guess to answer your question, why would Thrawn go there? Because it's a fully functioning former Imperial facility that he can get access to. And right now, he doesn't have that. There's not an Imperial facility on Dathomir. There's not an Imperial facility on even at Aten. So his closest two options would either be Wayland, where there's Mount Tantiss, which was abandoned decades before, or I guess a more recently in use Imperial facility on Mandalore. And that would make things a lot more interesting. That would bring in Bo-Katan and the Armorer, because there is an Imperial facility and base on Mandalore. Moff Gideon was just running that. Wait. Whoa. I take it back. Did that not... It blew up at the end of the third season, right? Never mind. I take it back. There is no Imperial facility anymore on Mandalore. It blew up. Yes. So, Mount Tantiss is the most likely place. Yes, you are right. That blew up. Absolutely. So Mount Tantiss is still the most likely place for an Imperial facility that isn't already taken over by the New Republic and that Thrawn can use as his base of operations. It would be really crazy. I mean, talk about playing 4D chess. Talk about being 10 steps ahead. It would be really, really wild if Dave Filoni had been planning out Wayland and Mount Tantiss as Thrawn's base of operations in the Heir to the Empire possible trilogy 7 years ago, when we got Clone Wars Season 7 and the Bad Batch, and then we got the Bad Batch that gave us Mount Tantiss and Project Necromancer, which takes place in the prequel era, by the way. Might I remind you that? Like, we're talking about... That would mean Star Wars has been... Or all these projects have been planned out for the last at least 7 years, probably closer to 8 or 9 years, and we just didn't even know it at the time. And it would beg the question, what else was being set up 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago that is going to be paid off in the somewhat near future? So, a couple weeks ago, we were talking about a new saga and how all the projects coming up for Star Wars are going to be connected to said saga. No more standalone films. All the shows are going to take place in the New Republic era now, and everything will be interconnected. Who's to say that didn't begin already? Who's to say that all the things being connected didn't already start long, long ago? Because the Bad Batch is very much connected to what's going on here with the Mandoverse. Project Necromancer has been the through line from the prequels to the originals to the Mandoverse to the sequels. And me personally, I think that's really cool. As much as I hated somehow Palpatine Returns, the explanation of it all, connecting everything together, is freaking genius. It's so good. And it changes the way you watch the sequel trilogy. Wild. Okay.
This is where the fun begins.
Okay. But for Ahsoka Season 2... Oh, He's going to go through all those things again. For Ahsoka Season 2, these set photos are obviously going to be the main two places, Peridia and Dathomir. And it's still, I think, for at least the war in our Star Wars, going to be a setup for what comes later. Going to be a setup for Dave Filoni's movie and Thrawn's rule. Because I can guarantee you, I guarantee that there is a 0.000% chance that Thrawn's rule ends with Ahsoka Season 2. There is no way. The Heir to the Empire will not die in Ahsoka Season 2. I know I love killing off characters. I've already said that Harrison Dula will die in Season 2 of Ahsoka. Okay. But Thrawn will live. He will absolutely live because there is so much more story to tell with him. I was actually just re-listening to Thrawn, the second one. Thrawn Ascendancy, but the second book in that series, I can't think of what it's called. Maybe it's just called Book 2, actually. Either way. And the Grisk being brought up, and the Grisk coming to be, like, there is two major threats that they could set up with Ahsoka Season 2 for the future of Star Wars. One being, in the poll right now, Abeloth, and that insane amount of power with that character for a post-sequel world. And then two, the Grisk, an entire species that poses a threat in the unknown regions. Because if you're going to go after Palpatine has died and he was quote-unquote all the Sith, to go back and do just another Sith Lord in the post-sequel world for the next saga of Star Wars storytelling, it just doesn't make sense. You can go back and do the Old Republic and give us incredible Sith Lords. Go do Darth Bane. Go do Darth Revan, of course. Go do Malak and all those other guys. For post-sequel world, give us something like the Grisk. Give us something like Abeloth, a non-Sith Lord Force wielder that's so unbelievably powerful, or an entire species of a threat from the unknown regions. That's what they should be setting up here with Ahsoka Season 2. Do I think we could see Luke versus Thrawn? No. Here's where I think things are going to get very different from what Legends looked like for the Heir to the Empire stuff. I don't really think Luke, Leia, or Han, or Chewie, or Lando, or any of them, I don't think any of them will be involved with the Heir to the Empire, with Thrawn. Which sounds crazy, because if a big blue meanie is coming in and trying to take over the galaxy, you think that Luke, Leia, and Han would be involved in that. It's very easy to write them out. Very easy. Would I love to see all three on the screen for the first time since 1983? Yes. Do I hope I'm extremely wrong in this instance? Yes. But I don't think they'll be in it. It's very, very easy to write them off screen. Luke's building his Jedi Temple, and he's now training Ben Solo. We could get mention of them, sure. But will they be there? Very unlikely. Han and Leia, they're getting divorced. They're not here right now. Please leave your name and number, and we'll get back to you after the beep. That's what's going to happen. The people who are going to take down Thrawn are the main characters that we've seen thus far. It's the Rebels Ghost crew. It's Ahsoka, maybe. It's Din and Grogu. It's Boba Fett. It's Bo-Katan. It's all these characters that have been the main characters of this Mandoverse thus far. Not Luke, Leia, and Han. At least I don't think. Hopefully I'm wrong, but I don't think we'll be seeing a Luke Skywalker versus Grand Admiral Thrawn. Yeah. I swear, if they never touched the Grisk again, what was the point in making them? Could not agree with you more. The Grisk are not something that was created in Legends. The Grisk weren't something that was created 40 years ago. You're talking about a book that came out in, I don't know, 2017 or something? Let's look it up. Let's look it up. When did Thrawn Ascendancy come out? Okay. Greater Good, that's what it was. Thank you. Oh my God, not even 2018. The Thrawn Ascendancy trilogy released in 2020, 2021, and 2021, later 2021. So you're talking about the Grisk is first mentioned, I believe, in Book 2. I don't even think they're mentioned in Book 1. They're alluded to in Book 1, but they're mentioned in Book 2. Oh, we'll talk about that in a second. Star Wars just posted something about Star Wars Celebration we'll get to in a sec. But you're talking about the Grisk were just introduced to the Star Wars canon 5 years ago. This isn't something that's ancient history. This is something that was just introduced. And guess what? We were just talking about the Bad Batch and how that's interconnected to all the stuff happening with Thrawn right now. You're going to tell me that a book that came out about Thrawn at the exact same time as the Bad Batch was introducing Project Necromancer and Mount Tantus is not also going to be connected to this? So on the one hand, you have an animated series that's giving you Mount Tantus and the cloning facility on Wayland. And at the exact same time, you're getting the release of a book about Thrawn and the Grisk in the unknown regions, and those aren't both going to be involved in Thrawn as the heir to the Empire? You're crazy. I'm not crazy. You're crazy. So, yeah, the Grisk have to be involved. They were just introduced 5 years ago. That is a blip in time in the Star Wars fandom, in the Star Wars universe. That's like they were introduced yesterday, practically. So, yeah, the Grisk will heavily be involved in the outcome of what Thrawn is up to. Yeah. Indeed. Okay, let's get to this, because this is just sort of breaking news right here. Breaking news. All right, let's do this. So Star Wars just posted this. So Star Wars Celebration comes out or starts on April of next year. We've already gotten Hayden Christensen and some others confirmed, but check this out. Celebrity guests confirmed for Star Wars Celebration 2027. This is now an updated list. Stars from across the Skywalker saga and Lucasfilm Animation are heading to Star Wars Celebration in Los Angeles, and the latest wave of autographed guests were just revealed. Ahmed Best, Jar Jar Binks obviously, and Kelleran Beck now. Matthew Wood voices General Grievous, also does insurmountable amount of work behind the scenes. Yeah, he voices General Grievous in Revenge of the Sith, though, and the Clone Wars, which I guess he's more so known for, but also supervising sound editor and sound designer at Skywalker Sound. You got Ashley Eckstein, James Arnold Taylor, and Matt Lanter, the voices of Ahsoka, Obi-Wan, and Anakin from the Clone Wars. Nice. Hayden Christensen, Ian McDermott, Anthony Daniels, Anakin, Palpatine, C-3PO. D. Bradley Baker, the voice of all clones. Michelle Ang, the voice of Omega. Interesting. Obviously, they're not going to be announcing a new season of Bad Batch, but still interesting nonetheless. Oh, and that's it. So there's going to be a lot more. We're still, whatever it is, 8 months away, but that's pretty cool. That just happened. That just happened. Breaking news. All right, but getting back to Ahsoka Season 2, the Grisk have to be involved in this. They just have to be in terms of this story. But, okay. Oh, yeah. Let's talk about this. So, Star Wars D23, sorry, is coming up in August. And Star Wars Pavilion, or Lucasfilm, sorry, Pavilion, is officially returning at D23. This will give attendees exciting opportunities for photo ops with props and costumes from Star Wars projects, but also the last one allowed fans or attendees to view the volume in person. So this is something that's returning for Star Wars. And yes, we still think D23 is going to be where we get our Ahsoka Season 2 teaser trailer and Starfighter teaser trailer. But that was the latest and greatest on that. Now let's talk about Star Wars Eclipse. We'll come back to Ahsoka Season 2. We'll come back to it. But let's talk Star Wars Eclipse, a video game that we have not heard much about in recent times. However, we have an update. Let's take a look. Star Wars Eclipse developers Quantic Dream faces strikes over proposed layoffs.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Not a good start, but let's read it again. Let's read it. Star Wars Eclipse has an uncertain future as French video game developer Quantic Dream continues facing significant issues behind the scenes. The company, following the release of the live service game Spellcasters Chronicles, never heard of it, which crashed and burned during an early access period, well, hence I've never heard of it, is considering laying off 115 employees, which amounts to a quarter of their workers. Specifically, the game developer that worked on worked on that said game, Spellcaster Chronicles. This was reported by the French site Game Cult, I guess. Quantic Dream in French. Star Wars Eclipse, in the meantime, is said to be dying a slow death due to the lack of clear creative vision, resources to develop the game, and progress on overall development. Now, let me just give you a quick refresher. I love this trailer so much, so I'm very excited to watch it. But this trailer dropped 4 years ago. December 9th, 2021. So 4.5 years. Oh, what? Excuse me. Oh. So 4.5 years ago. And let's just get a refresher because this is one of the best trailers for a video game we've ever received. Yeah. They dropped that banger. Had everybody going crazy. I remember when I remember the exact day this trailer came out because I dropped everything I was doing. I thought it was a movie trailer, honestly, at first. And I was like, I had to double, triple check that it was a game. And I dropped everything I did and I made a video about it, of course. But, I mean, talk about hyping fans up only for disappointment. Insane. This looked like it could have been one of the coolest games ever. It's prequel, so it's in that High Republic era. I mean, come on. It looks incredible. Now, what's even greater about this, and the fact that we're watching this trailer today of all days, is because we're talking about Ahsoka Season 2, and the leaks for it, and Thrawn, and the Grisk, and there was a long time that people thought that this was going to be the Grisk, and this would be our introduction to the Grisk in this game. This Voldemort-looking guy. He was going to be our introduction to the Grisk, which would have been awesome. However, and actually now that we've put up the timelines on this was late 2021, and we were just talking about how the Grisk was introduced in early 2021. Coincidence? I think not. But what could have been? Imagine this game came out, introduced us to these villains known as the Grisk. Let's say for a second, for fun here, that this is the Grisk. If this game came out, introduced us to the Grisk in the pre-prequels era, Thrawn in the Ascendancy books introduced us to the Grisk in the pre-originals era, but post-prequels, and then we get introduced to them in live action in the Mandoverse era. It is a bummer, but let's keep reading the article because they go on. So, it is dying a slow death, so they say. Now, honestly, tell me in the chat, do you think this will ever get made? Do you think this game will ever see the light of day? Will ever be released for fans to enjoy? Yes or no? What do we think? What do we think? What do we think? Star Wars Monopoly was released today on stream. Oh, we know. Or, I mean, on Steam. Yeah, oh, we know. We know. Are we happy about it? No. Mr. Snoopy, what's up? Is this a new show I just got here? No, this is a very old thing. Yeah. 65% you think it will still... Wow, that's pretty high praise. Actually, let's put this up in a poll. Let's pull it up. Who is calling out to Bale and Skull, by the way? 60% of you guys think it is Abeloth. All right, let's do this. Do you think Star Wars Eclipse will still happen? Yes or no? GTA 6 is coming. Eclipse can make it too. Honestly, valid point. There was a long time there where people thought GTA 6 would never happen. And here we are. It made $3 billion in its first 24 hours. But GTA 6 is very different than Star Wars Eclipse, sadly. Can I get some good cups follow orders, please? Bum-ba. Mike, you have to give us a maybe option? No. Be decisive. It's yes or no. Don't let your dreams be dreams. Everything we've ever heard about Star Wars Eclipse has sounded incredible. Except for the fact that they can't make the freaking game. But let's keep reading. The game's lead writer left the project. That's always a good sign. The industry buzz as of late is that the game is still in a bad state. The studio has shifted overall development to Eclipse by enforcing mandatory overtime on their employees, threatening the title with cancellation and potentially bankruptcy as an alternative. Interestingly, NetEase, the parent company that acquired Quantic Dream in 2022, which again did not help the production of this game when it got bought, the company got bought out a year later, has not encouraged any of these actions, though they have shut down some projects that Quantic Dream was approaching and failing to make progress on. Quantic Dream employees have attempted to reach out to NetEase to retain the positions, but interference from the C-suite has prevented their pleas from being heard. Due to the overall chaos at the company, NetEase is said to be reconsidering its investment. Shocker. Now, having said that, this does not, seem like good news. It seems to be on the same page as the 1313 game. Yeah, that seems to be where we're at. Show Maul. You know what, Mr. Snoopy, just for you, and just because I have it already pulled up, here you go. Here's Darth Maul. Okay. Sorry. That was random. But, okay, continuing. As Lucasfilm has sent a delegation of representatives to check up on the progress of the game, several employees are taking matters into their own hands. Yesterday morning, STJV Union, which obviously stands for Super Talented Junior Varsity Union, a French union for video game developers, began a strike as a result in front of Quantic Dream's office, claiming that the company's struggles stem back to a consistent failure in leadership from Quantic Dream CEO David Cage. So there's strikes in front of the building at this point. The strike is meant to last through September. Yikes! Under the name of the Summer Grieve Fest. Fest. As the union notes that this proposed wave of layoffs would be one of the worst for the French games industry since Blizzard gutted their division in 2018. And they are understandably doing everything in their power to prevent them. Super Talented JV Union issued the following statement criticizing the subsidized nature of the French game industry, which allows executives to use generative AI to replace workers while pocketing the money for themselves to avoid accountability. My God, what is going on over there in France? My goodness. What are we doing? This crisis was avoidable. Thanks, Captain Obvious. The failures of our leadership to train and retain a skilled workforce, their repeated abuse against workers, their incompetence in project management, and their inability to listen to warnings have all directly led to this current situation. Yeah. Facts. Yeah. Just make Star Wars Eclipse. I mean, that's all I really want, Give it to a different studio if you have to. Like, look at this. You're telling me you don't want this game right here? Just that one screenshot alone is cool enough to make an entire game out of. What are we talking about here? What are we talking about here? Okay. Negotiations, blah, 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 strikes, all that great stuff. So, not the greatest day in the world for Star Wars Eclipse. There is an official statement that I have here. Wait a sec. Quantic Dream has released an official statement about Star Wars Eclipse. As previously stated, the development of Star Wars Eclipse remains unaffected by the recent closure of Spellcaster Chronicles, a decision driven by the challenging market conditions in that segment. The development of Star Wars Eclipse is continuing as planned, with a full commitment to its team and the necessary resources to complete its mission. Our priority is to ensure that employees affected by the restructuring process receive an appropriate support, care, and consideration. Out of respect for the ongoing process of the employees' concerns, we will not provide any further comment at this stage. So, on the one hand, you're having, protests in the streets outside of Quantic Dream's headquarters because of the CEO. On the other hand, you have Quantic Dreams saying in an official statement that Star Wars Eclipse is still going to happen. It does not seem likely. As much as I would love Eclipse to still happen, this does not look good. No, it does not. But on the brighter side, on the I guess good news side of things, in terms of Star Wars video games, we got 2 coming out this year. This is actually really cool. I found this. Let's pull this up. But we got Star Wars Galactic Racer and Star Wars Zero Company coming out. Wait, what? Oh, there we go. Coming out this year. Zero Company on August 27th. That has not been confirmed yet, but that is the leaked release date. August 27th for Zero Company. And Galactic Racer is October 6th. And from what we've been seeing about Galactic Racer, it looks incredible. Yes, Ahsoka Season 2 is early 2027. Maul Shadow Lord Season 2, this is not confirmed for 2027, but we assume it is. And Starfighter, I believe, is the 28th. I think that's wrong, but maybe I'm wrong. Either way, these 2 games come out this year. And Monopoly today, yes. Sadly.
I got a bad feeling about this.
And Monopoly today, of course, yes. Duh. After this stream, should we all just play Monopoly together? Is it multiplayer? Should we play Monopoly together, chat? Is that what we should do? Ruin our nights? Ruin everybody's day? Play Monopoly? Is that what we should do? Yeah? Okay, let's do our giveaway. How about that? If you are not yet a member, this is your last chance to become a member to the people who love Star Wars. And let's see how many members we are at right now. You can gift memberships if you really want, because then that would make it even harder for you to win. But, hey, gift a membership. Why not? But, no. This is your last chance to become a member. Oh, wait, where is our... What the heck? Ah, there we go. Let's see how many members we are at currently. See all members. 83. Okay, so you got a 1 in 83 chance to win this giveaway, which today is Mandalorian and Grogu. Razor Crest from the Mandalorian and Grogu. This is your last chance to become a member of the people who love Star Wars. Here's how it works. We have this big wheel. 1 to 83, and we spin it, and somebody wins. Somebody goes home with a brand new Razor Crest. Okay. Let's see. See, this is what we like to see. I really hope K-Labs wins because it would be really funny. However, all right. So I do have to refresh this page now because K-Labs will not be on this list. Let's see. Let's see. Aha. There we go. K-Labs is now on the list. So if you see your name on this list, you have a 1 in 84 chance now of winning today's giveaway. Starting all the way down here at number 1 is Cat's Paw. Number 2 would be Rose here. Number 3 would be Fearless. Starship 66 would be 4, etc. All the way up to 84, which would be, I guess, Dan. I don't know why they switched these two, but either way, there we go. And let's welcome K-Labs, the people who love Star Wars. K-Labs! Welcome to the people who love Star Wars! Welcome to the people who love Star Wars, K-Labs. I appreciate that quite a bit. Now I must add one more to this wheel. 84 is the magical number. We do giveaways at the end of every single month, of course, to give back to the people who love Star Wars, because you guys, for some reason, are crazy and like to listen to me talk about Star Wars. So let's do this. All right. Let's spin the wheel. Let's do it. All right. For a brand new Lego Razor Crest. Spin it. Such a satisfying noise. Uh-oh. Oh, I thought somebody just became a member. That would have sucked. 50. Right smack dab in the middle. That's going to be a pain in the ass to count to. Okay, let's do it, though. Let's do it anyway. Another bike who loves Star Wars is very generous. $2 says, Purgil do not only go to Peridia to die. Google it. Well, they didn't go there to die in Ahsoka, season 1. But I think the idea is that they sort of were hanging out on Cetos, so Ahsoka could just go and talk to them. They would have to, like, time it perfectly for them to come into orbit and then know when they're coming. It would just be unlikely, I guess. All right, starting at Cat's Paw. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is Christopher. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 is Lobo. 17, 18, 19, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 is Mando. 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32 is 50 Thunderer. 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39 is Jessica. 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47 is your pal Joe. 47, 48, 49, 50, Charlie Earth Roast. You have won the giveaway. Holly, that's devastating, not going to lie. But Charlie, I don't know if Charlie's here. I have not seen him in the chat today. But Charlie, you have won. Let me write it down so I don't forget. Charlie. Hit me up on anything, Discord, Instagram, Twitter, wherever you can reach out to me. So we can get this out to you as soon as today, honestly, if you can reach out to me. But Charlie, congratulations. You have won the Razor Crest. You are going home with a brand new spaceship. Congratulations. Okay. Holly, that is devastating. But that's one away. Okay. Where were we? But getting back to it, it would have been really cool if Star Wars Eclipse did do that. If it brought in the Grisk, if it connected to Thrawn and all the stuff that could be coming in the Mandoverse as well. That might be why that game was greenlit in the first place. Having said that, I do like the idea. Oh no, Dale. Did you just become a member? Oh, you've been a member. Never mind. Skywalker Academy right there. My bad. Okay. Having said that, where were we? So if you do want access to this 85-page Ahsoka leaks going on here, the link is in the link is in the Discord, and the link to the Discord is in the description of this video. So if you want to join the Discord, go check out this. You can be my guest. Be my guest. Wait a second. Oh, no, we have seen this. Footage shown on May 12th, 2026. We know that Ahsoka Season 2 teaser / behind the scenes was shown at the Disney Upfront. Footage overall was very simple but sweet. A shot of Sabine reverse gripping a lightsaber like Ahsoka while using her flamethrower on her gauntlet. Very, very cool. A lot of Hayden and Anakin, or / Anakin, sorry. Hayden as Anakin. Anakin in a new costume, not a Force ghost, at least visibly. Could be that there's no VFX done yet, a B-roll shot, or it's an entirely new costume. Could be, if he's now the father, he might have a different outfit on. Epic space battles shown. So we've talked about the locations, specifically Peridia and this giant set right here, and Dothamir, this giant set right here. But I think the majority of what the war in our Star Wars is referring to is a space battle. And that space battle is Grand Admiral Thrawn versus Admiral Akbar. And that's what Dave Filoni was telling to us at Star Wars Celebration, is that they're bringing back the Admiral, and he is going to go toe-to-toe with Thrawn. And that will all be a space battle, epic space battles that were shown. Lightsaber combat was also shown. We don't know who, but there also seems to be a lightsaber that we've never seen on screen before, which I think is in reference to Enoch's Night Sister blade. We're getting Night Sister magic in a lot of it, so we're going to get to see a lot more new variations of things we've seen before. But lightsabers of all shapes and flavors. Of course, Ezra has a lightsaber. Ahsoka has a lightsaber. Oh, Ahsoka only has one lightsaber now. I forgot that Morgan Elsbeth sliced one of her lightsabers in half, so she only has one. That's wild. But she still has one. I mean, she could build another one with Hu Yang, but either way. Shin has lightsabers. Balin has lightsabers. A lot of people have lightsabers. So, a lot of lightsabers. And Ezra was in the teaser too. No surprise there. One of the only official images that we have for Ahsoka Season 2 is Ezra Bridger. Okay. This is interesting. The story itself. Picking up from Season 1, clues to consider. In April of 2025, Dave Filoni said, I started asking, well, what happened this is from Star Wars Celebration. What happened thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago? The witches are a way to explain that there was a different history. Interesting. So the idea that the Night Sisters are obviously from thousands and thousands of years ago, and we learned that they're from a different galaxy, but also in the main galaxy, we're going back thousands and thousands of years with Dawn of the Jedi or the Knights of the Old Republic or the Fate of the Old Republic, stuff like that. The three great mothers will carry each carry ancient-looking orbs that have magnitude of abilities, helping them see the future, binding a prisoner like Sabine, and triangulating somebody's location by peering into the Force, which is what they did in the first season. Are the witches something that preceded the Jedi? Is that why they don't like the Jedi? Are they a different culture? The way they look at the Force, do they interact with it in different ways? So you start to draw on real things, how religion comes in and destroys other religions in the history of the galaxy. Of course, we'd have that. So the idea that there would be multiple different variations of Force users, not just the Jedi and the Sith. And we've seen more of that. We've seen more of that in Star Wars, like a character like Chirrut from Rogue One, or Night Sisters, obviously, and the witches in the Acolyte. There's different religions, like there is different religions in the real world, which is really cool. Talking about the Great Mothers, they're ancient witches who have somehow survived on this desolate planet for years and years. Ezra does tell us that Thrawn woke up those Night Sisters in Season 1. He says he woke them up. So I don't know if they were asleep or dead or what was going on there. It must have been asleep because Thrawn couldn't bring them back to life, as far as we're aware. But how did they survive on this desolate planet for years and years? In some kind of hibernation sleep. And when they wake up, and wake up in a different world where their entire way of life has been destroyed and suppressed. This is from the behind the scenes in the Blu-ray. So that kind of indicates to us that all of the Night Sisters that were brought back to the main galaxy with Thrawn, they are asleep. They're not being brought back to life, they're asleep. So that will make for quite an interesting explanation in Season 2, too. They live in largely a dead galaxy, a dead planet, where war wiped out everything. Whoa! Not wiped out Peridia, wiped out everything in a dead galaxy. I was just under the impression that Peridia was just one galaxy in an entire new, one planet in an entirely new galaxy. And that planet was a wasteland because of maybe Abeloth, or whatever Balin Skoll is looking for. That thing, power, destroyed this entire planet. To say that the entire galaxy is dead is completely different. That's wild. Holy crap. Okay, so we won't be getting much more of the Peridia galaxy because the entire galaxy is dead. Whoa. Filoni also said in the Blu-ray behind the scenes, the witches as string pullers of the thread of destiny are working on their own end as much as helping Thrawn. True, because this galaxy is dead, they want to get back to a place that's not dead like Dathomir. So a secret agenda almost, which is interesting, setting them up that they're not just servants, but their own powerful faction. This might come back to bite Thrawn in the butt. In the Heir to the Empire Legends trilogy, Thrawn has Rook at his side. Rook is of the species the Nogri. And the Nogri work for the Empire because they worshipped Vader. Over the course of the trilogy, Leia actually becomes friends with the Nogri, and eventually the Nogri turn on Thrawn because Leia reveals to the people that the Empire is actually hurting their people, not helping their people. It's a whole deal. Go read the trilogy, honestly, but that's the whole gist of it. And the Nogri, specifically Rook, turn on Thrawn and are the death of him. His own right hand, pretty much, was the death of him. Could we be seeing a very similar situation here, but instead of the Nogri people, it's the Night Sisters, and the Night Sister people will actually, or Night Sister witches will actually turn on Thrawn in the end? That would be crazy. But he does mention that they have their own secret agenda, and they're not just going with Thrawn for their own, for just to help Thrawn. It could be a very similar story here to the Heir to the Empire trilogy. That would be very interesting. He gets stabbed in the back by the Night Sisters themselves. Now that I would not see coming. Well, now I will see it coming, but still. The witches also don't seem happy about Thrawn bombing the fortress. Oh, that's true. At the very end of the season, they're not happy when he bombs the fortress. It was their home. But we'll see. Again, they have an alliance. Thrawn wants to win and isn't taking any chances. All right, now I'm fully convinced these witches are turning on Thrawn at some point. Do I think it will be the death of Thrawn? Probably not, but he's going to need more of an army than just these Night Sisters, because once it becomes... Let's put it this way. Ahsoka Season 2 might be the last time we see the Night Sisters on Thrawn's side. If the New Republic comes to their home, Dathomir, and tries to kill them, they might be like, this guy is not helping our cause here. We don't want to fight in a war for the galaxy. We just want to live. We just want to be on this planet and have a life. We don't want to be in a constant war forever. So they might just leave Thrawn out to do his own thing. And that might be why Thrawn has to leave Dathomir as well. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. Dave Filoni also said on seeing Morai at the end of season 1, it's a bit of symbolism, a bit of iconography that the owl keeps coming up that foretells things for Ahsoka, a harbinger of what's to come, signs of things for her to consider as kind of a wizard of the story. Interesting that they use this word right here, because that's used to describe Asajj Ventress in the Bad Batch. The more you know. Okay. But, talking about Balin's Skull here for a second too. Balin is on this crusade, knight's quest to find his faith, to find the image of God or being of power he might desire. Abeloth. It's definitely Abeloth. But only time will tell. So if you want to read into all this, I'm sure more stuff will come out of this, and more leaks that come out will be added to this. But all these 85... Oh, I didn't see this. Production. They were filming in Scotland, in the UK. This is probably a lot of Peridia stuff right there. I forgot about this one too, yeah. So a lot of leaks. A lot of Ahsoka Season 2 leaks, to say the least. Set photos and behind-the-scenes stuff and interviews and craziness. But 85 pages. Go check it out in the Discord. Wild, wild stuff. And, yes, Maul Shadow Lord Season 2, as Sam Witwer says, the finale, it's pretty epic. And if he knows what the finale looks like, well, then he definitely knows what's going on and when we're going to get it. It's just a matter of when. Do you think we will get Star Wars Eclipse, or do you think Star Wars Eclipse is still happening? Almost 60% of you guys say no. And I kind of have to agree with you. I don't think it will. I don't think it will. Funny how Peridia looks like Aldani. Yeah. It's almost as if the galaxy far, far away isn't real. Whoa. It's almost as if they couldn't go off-world to film those scenes. Devastating. Yeah. All right. But having said that, I do have to get on out of here. Got to go finish up a short for later on today, so watch out for that. Got something really cool coming later on this week. I'll tease it a little bit. We interviewed somebody very cool. Me and Ron interviewed very... No, I'm going to leave it at that. Very cool person who's in Star Wars and might have been in Maul Shadow Lord Season 1. And your only other hint is it's not Sam Witwer. But watch out for that later on this week. And yeah. Until next time, smash a freaking like in this stream. Hit that subscribe. Hit that bell. All that great stuff. You know the deal. Go join the Discord because why wouldn't you at this point? You know, you're just missing out on all the fun. You're just missing out on the fun. What's the best Star Wars video game? Very interesting. I'd go... That's tough. I mean, if you're going old school, Knights of the Old Republic. If you're going new school, Jedi Survivor. But if you're going multiplayer, Battlefront 2. Yeah. Yeah. Indeed. What does this have to do with Ahsoka Season 2? Everything. Everything. Nobody wants the Bad Batch? Now that's just crazy talk. Oh, nobody watched the Bad Batch. That's also crazy talk. All right, but until next time, smash a freaking like in this stream. All that great stuff. And yeah. May the Force be with you. Always. Chopper, you're fired. You're fired. Oh, now you do it. Oh, yeah. What a great stream. What a great show. You guys are the absolute best. I appreciate you all so much more than you'll ever know. Could Ezra and Thrawn have a rematch? Yes, that's definitely coming. I don't think Ezra will be the one to kill Thrawn, or even if Thrawn dies in the end. It'll be somebody different. I don't know who, but somebody different. But until next time, watch out for a live stream tomorrow night on Star Wars Jedi Chat at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And, of course, Thursday and Saturday and Tuesday and Thursday and Saturday for the rest of your lives. This was quite a fun live stream. Always love talking Ahsoka Season 2 leaks, but when you get to talk about Maul Shadow Lord Season 2 and all this other stuff, even Star Wars Eclipse, even though it might be dead, and do a giveaway, you gotta love that. You gotta love that. But until next time, smash a freaking like in this stream, all that great stuff. You know the deal. Hope you have a great rest of your evening. Great rest of your lives. And good night, everybody. Wait. Post-credit scene. I'm coming back. We have to talk about this. We must talk about this, okay? I posted a short that was Keep 5, Cut 5 Star Wars battles. And the first one up, again, it's blind ranking. You know, I don't know what the battles are going to be. The first one up is the Battle of Exegol, right? Now, chat, what would you do in my situation? First battle is the Battle of Exegol. You know, the biggest in terms of scale, in terms of impact on the galaxy. If they lose, Palpatine has an entire fleet of planet-destroying Star Destroyers that will be let loose on the entire galaxy. If they lose, it's over. It's over. What would you do? Would you keep that battle? Or would you cut that battle? People just put on the lenses of the sequels aren't my favorite, so this battle stinks. Yeah. It's just, no. And I got a lot of crap for cutting the Battle of Hoth. Same thing. In terms of scale, in terms of in terms of importance, that's just the escaping scene at the beginning of The Last Jedi. They're escaping the Rebel base. There's like 4 AT walkers. Yes, it's cool. It's the first stop motion. It's the first time seeing the AT walkers and Luke taking it down. It's cool. I'm not saying the battle's not cool, but it's not nearly as important or nearly as significant as the Battle of Exegol. Just because it's a sequel movie does not take away from the importance and the scale of the battle. Sorry. Just had to get that off my chest. And people were cutting the Battle of Naboo, too, with actual Duel of the Fates in it. My God. My God. May the Force be with you. Oh, yeah, what a great stream, what a great show. I don't know what the hell that was. Somebody has some really strong opinions about Star Wars battles. Post-credit scene, you know, gotta love it. All right, but until next time, hope you have a great rest of your evening, great rest of your lives, and good night, everybody.